lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a bridal makeup tutorial, but not just any bridal makeup tutorial, one that is inspired by Meghan Markle and the royal wedding. So I'm not very informed. In fact, I was like, oh, the royal wedding, like, is that happening today? And then I went like on YouTube and I was like, oh wait, it already ended. So I'm not like crazy into it, but everything, like even like the Grammys, the Met Gala, like whatever, I don't actually care about it. I just want to see what people are wearing and like their makeup. I just love seeing what people do for their makeup. So I saw her makeup and I thought it was beautiful, very, very soft and elegant, and just very much like a natural, no makeup kind of makeup, which I'm not here to makeup shame at all, because you could do no makeup for your wedding day. You could do full glam. I would do full glam personally. Everyone's different, but I did like her approach and I thought she looked beautiful. However, I was inspired to do this video because I saw that her makeup and hair, we're not going to count hair, we're just going to think about makeup, but the total price was $18,000, and I was like, girl. So I wanted to go ahead and do the tutorial with all drugstore / affordable brands. Some aren't available like in the drugstore, or just like I use stuff from ColourPop, which is online, but it is all more on the affordable side. So you can basically get this look. I have to recalculate the makeup products because I added a few extra in, but I know it's going to be like somewhere around $100. So $18,000 versus $100. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. So my very first step is just to use a moisturizer. You can use any one that you have, but I'm just gonna use that to prep the skin, just because for me in particular I have really dry skin, so I want to start off with a really nice moisturized canvas. For primer today, I'm going to go in with the Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer, and this has just a little bit of glow to it, but it looks really, really beautiful and natural in the skin, and it kind of has like the texture of a lotion, so it feels hydrating too. I'm just going to take a sheer amount of that and just buff that into my skin as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that sink into my skin, and I'm going to do my brows really quick. I'm going to use the BH Studio Pro HD Brow Pencil. I'm not going to make my brows look like Meghan's per se, but I am just going to make it basically just give myself some structure, give myself some color, but I'm not going to do like Instagram brows or go super heavy. I'm definitely going to go on the lighter side. So I'm just going to fill in where I naturally have sparse areas and just do short, like just tiny little strokes to kind of make it look more like natural hair. I'm lucky I have a ton of brow hair, so it ends up looking pretty natural either way. I'm just going to try and not put too much effort or thought into them, because I have that syndrome, you know, when you always want to go glam. So if I spend too much time on my brows, they will turn into Instagram brows. And then up at the front, I just do tiny little strokes. Don't want it to be too intense. So now I'm going to take the Ordinary Serum Foundation. I have the shade 1.0N, and this is more of a lighter formula, lighter coverage. I feel like you can still see my freckles peeking through, which is something I noticed on Meghan, is that her freckles peeked through her foundation. If she was even wearing any, I'm just making guesses here. But I'm going to go ahead and I like literally, I'm so ridiculous, I don't, it's closed. I just do a drop here and there. Not even just to be Instagram-y, but just because it's easy. And I've really been loving the Sonia Kashuk sponge. It's like humongous. It is damp and it blends your foundation literally so quick. So I'm just gonna blend my foundation in, do patting motions. Literally, like, I can do my foundation in 30 seconds with this sponge. It's crazy. So there's how this foundation looks. I feel like it is the perfect, like, no makeup type of foundation. Like I said, you can still see my freckles and everything peeking through, but it just adds a little bit of coverage, a little bit of luminosity, and I think it looks really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and use my concealer now, which is going to be the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in C1. And this does say it's full coverage. I would argue that it's more medium coverage, but I'm going to go ahead and just use it very sparingly, because Meghan did have, like, you could see the darkness under her eyes still, and I mean, I feel like some people could pull that off really well. but I feel like hers was more of a darkness and mine is like actually like purpley blue. So I am going to cover just a little bit under my eyes, but nowhere near as much as I normally would. Like I'm going to keep it very contained. And then just because I am dealing with a little acne right now, I'm just going to spot conceal anywhere that needs it, since we want everything to be really nice and perfect. And I have like a problem nose, so I'm just going to conceal that whole thing. So I'm just going to take my sponge and just lightly blend that in. Just concentrating it on the area that I need it most. And I'm going to take whatever's left over on the sponge from that eye and just kind of prime the eyelids a little bit. So I added a little bit more concealer in like the crease of my nose, because that's where women get hormonal redness. Like it just happens, like it just, I've had it for years, it never goes away. And I'm just blending with a little duo fiber blending brush, just kind of making sure that I really got that area and there's no redness peeking through. So of course this is adding a little bit more coverage, but I think that's one of the things when you do like a super natural makeup look, you just, instead of doing full coverage, you focus more on spot concealing the areas that you feel are your problem areas, or that you really need it, wherever that is. I'm just going to use the sponge and just tap that out just a little bit, make sure it's all blended in nicely, seamlessly. So to set my face, normally I go in with the RC No Color Powder, but that has flashback. And obviously, if you're in a royal wedding, you don't want to have flashback in your pictures. That would be awful. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Flower Beauty Miracle Glow Satin Finishing Powder. I'm just going to set my entire face. This is super beautiful translucent powder, and it just has just a tiny bit of sheen to it. So I feel like I can set my face without making it look like matte all the way. So I'm just going to pack that onto a duo fiber powder brush and just kind of set everywhere I need to set. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my face in a little bit. We're going to move on to eyes, and unfortunately I couldn't find a picture of Meghan like looking down so I could really see what was happening with her eyes, but it looked like a very, very natural daytime kind of smoky eye, and it looked kind of darker at the base. So I think that's what I'm going to try and do and hopefully achieve a similar look. I'm going to start out with the ColourPop gel liner, and this is the shade Swerve, I believe. And this is going to look a little ridiculous, but I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of line my eyes. I'm going to do one eye at a time because I don't know how fast the ColourPop gel liner is going to dry, but I have this little smudger brush just from like Coastal Scents, like literally like forever ago, but you could just use any pencil brush. And I'm just going to kind of smudge that out just a little bit. Give it more of that smoky look. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take a brown eyeshadow. You could use any brown that you have. I'm just going to go ahead and take this one out of the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette because it is super affordable and it's only like $10 right now. It's on sale. So I'm just going to take that dark brown, and I'm just going to start off slowly, just add a little bit to my brush because it is pretty pigmented. And I'm just going to kind of set that on top. And then just kind of blend upwards. So I'm just blending above, not really being super precise, just being a little bit messy. And I totally had an eyelash fell out. That's not good luck at all. So just using that shade to blend everything. And it still looks a little bit messy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this like pointed little crease kind of brush. This is the Morphe G7X, and I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's kind of like a neutral brown shade. It's got a little tiny bit of shimmer in it, but you can barely tell on the eyes. And I'm just going to blend a little bit above. I only want to keep this like on the lower side. I don't want it being super blown out or anything, but I want that blend, like that gradient. So I went ahead and checked the reference picture that I'm using, and I feel like with my eyes open, this looks pretty close to what hers looked like. I think she kind of definitely had like that messy smudged out liner look. So I'm gonna go ahead and add mascara, and this is my My only cheat for this affordable video, because I'm going to be using the Pure Fully Charged mascara. I don't even like this that much, but I go through one mascara at a time, so I don't have a drugstore or affordable mascara open at this point. So I'm just going to use this, but you can literally use whatever mascara you have, because I am going to go ahead and add lashes on top, because I'm not sure if she's wearing lashes or she just has naturally full eyelashes, or if she has lash extensions. But I personally have like no lashes whatsoever, so I'm going to go in with a really natural pair. Also, I'm going to keep the emphasis on the top lashes and only just barely use any mascara at all on the bottom, because she has like no eyeshadow on the bottom of her lower lash line. She didn't have any mascara, or sorry, she doesn't have any eyeliner on the lower lash line, just a tiny bit of mascara, and it might not even be mascara. She has darker hair, so it might just be her natural lashes. My lashes are orange, so you can't see them unless I add mascara to them, basically. Okay, like I said, just barely touching the lower lash line. So for lashes today, I'm just going to go ahead and add Ardell Wispies. I'm going to cut these a little bit to make sure they fit my eye, but I feel like these are more on the natural side. So I think she is wearing just a little bit of bronzer, and I feel like a cream bronzer would probably be the best option for today's look, but I don't have any drugstore cream bronzers that I really like, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next best thing, which is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter in the shade Be My Highlight. This is a highlighter for a lot of people, but not for me. It's just a little bit too tan. At least the undertone is, but I feel like it makes a beautiful bronzer because it kind of has a satin finish. But either way, I'm going to go super light-handed with this. I'm going to use a dual fiber little blending brush, and I'm just going to take just a little tiny bit. It's better to add more slowly than have to take some away, because it's hard to dig away bronzer. So I'm just going to kind of just do this part right here in the very back. Just blend. Want it to be like literally just barely noticeable, and then just a little bit on the temples, a little bit that's left over, and just lightly do the outside of my nose, basically. Not really nose contouring, but just adding just a touch of bronziness. So I'm going to go ahead and take that same brush, just because it's great for adding just the tiniest amount of color to the face, and I'm going to take the Butter Blush from Physicians Formula. This is the shade Plum Rose, and it's just like a really light, kind of like neutrally mauve-y blush, but it's just going to add just the tiniest touch of color, but we don't want it to be obvious. No one can know we're wearing makeup. So I can definitely see that Meghan is wearing highlighter. You can see it all the way down the bridge of her nose, her cheekbone just a little bit, and then also like this part of her forehead here as well. So I'm going to add a highlight in the same spots. There might even be just a touch on the Cupid's bow, but very minimal, very natural. So I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Highlight, and this is Who's That Pearl. It's the only shade they offer it in, unfortunately. But this is a great highlighter shade for my skin tone, and it's just very light, kind of like a pearly pink shade, and I really like the formula of this. It's super lightweight, just looks very natural on the skin. I was thinking of using ColourPop. They're Super Shock Cheeks, but I thought that might even be a little bit too much, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take my finger and just pick up a little bit of product, and I'm just gonna kind of add it to the tops of my cheekbones with one finger, like just add it right there, and then with the clean finger, just going to blend it out. Get that, see how natural that glow is? So just working back and forth, doing a little bit of the finger with product, and then a little bit of the finger that is clean. Okay, so before I go in with lipstick, I definitely want to add a setting spray and make sure this lasts all day long. So I'm going to be using the Pacifica Coconut Essence Hydro Mist, which just looks like this. It smells like coconuts and paradise, and like you're about to go on a honeymoon to Hawaii with your prince. So I'm just going to go ahead and set my face with this. Okay, so the very last step to this makeup look is obviously a little bit of lipstick. I already prepped my lips. I added chapstick before I even started, so they're hydrated and You can obviously go ahead and get rid of if you got any foundation on your lips or anything like that, because you don't want crusty lips when you're kissing the prince. So for lipstick today, I'm going to take the ColourPop Luxe lipstick because we are in a royal wedding. Even if we're on a budget, we need a luxurious lipstick, and this is the shade Stone Fox, and it's just a really like kind of like a light pinky shade, and you might be thinking like, what are you doing with that shade? Because if you apply this fully opaquely, it's definitely going to look, it's going to look a little Barbie-ish, but I feel like for my skin tone to get the same look that she has, which I already kind of have because I have a very like pinky pigmented lips, but I feel like if you just take this shade, just dab it on, and just be very careful with it because it is pigmented. So her lips look like they have just a touch of shine to them, but not necessarily glossy. So I think that like the best way to get this look is just to add a chapstick on top. You can use any one that you have. I'm just taking one that I have in a little tube, so I'm just going to tap that on top just to kind of get that shine and that moisture. So this is the final look for the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.